Dr. Jeszeck, before you testify, I think I speak for both the ranking member and myself that we very much value you and your colleagues at the GAO on a wide variety of issues. You call them as you see them. You do very thorough, careful work, and we very much appreciate the contribution you and your colleagues make.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I am pleased to be here today to speak about how undisclosed conflicts of interest can affect the financial performance of retirement plans. Because our nation's economic turmoil is threatening the retirement hopes of so many Americans today, this hearing is both timely and crucial. My testimony will review the findings of our 2007 study that explored the association between undisclosed conflicts of interest involving pension consultants and the rates of return of defined benefit pension plans. I will also discuss some vulnerabilities conflicts of interest may pose for self-directed plans like 401k plans. These issues are important because conflicts of interest have the potential to erode investor confidence and reduce the incomes Americans will depend upon in retirement. A conflict of interest typically exists when someone in a position of trust, such as a pension consultant, has competing professional or personal interests. Such conflicts can take many forms. No complete information exists about the presence of conflicts of interest involving pension plan service providers. However, a 2005 SEC examination of the activities of 24 pension consultants found that 13 had failed to disclose ongoing conflicts of interest. Using this data, GAO employed a variety of statistical techniques to tease out the possible relationship that such conflicts of interest could have on the annual rates of return of related defined benefit plans. In sum, controlling for a variety of economic and other factors, we found lower annual rates of return for those ongoing plans associated with consultants that had failed to disclose significant conflicts of interest. Specifically, these lower rates range from a statistically significant 1.2 to 1.3 percentage points over the 2000 to 2004 period we examined. Since the average annual return for ongoing plans that use consultants who did not have significant violations was about 4.5%, our results suggest that the average annual return for plans that used consultants with conflicts was 3.2 to 3.3%. Although GAO's results suggest a negative association between returns and plans that worked exclusively with pension consultants with conflicts, they should not be viewed necessarily as evidence of a causal relationship. While GAO's analysis controlled for many key variables, it is possible that other unknown factors could be at play influencing our results. In addition, while our results give an indication of the potential harm conflicts of interest may cause in the aggregate, they cannot be generalized to all pension consultants since the ones reviewed in the SEC study were not chosen randomly. It is also important to keep in mind that financially costly as conflicts of interest might be in the defined benefit world context, their risk is largely borne by the plan sponsor and not the participant. In most instances, the sponsor is responsible for funding the benefits promised to DB plan participants, regardless of the fund's investment performance. While our study focused on DB plans, conflicts of interest can have more direct consequences for participant of defined contribution plans. This is because under a typical self-directed plan, investment risk is largely borne by the individual participant. Lower rates of return directly affect a participant's account balance, and everything else equal will lead to lower accumulated savings over a worker's lifetime. Thus, participants are vulnerable to any situation or decision, including those involving conflicts of interest, that could result in higher fees or charges that could lead to lower investment returns. Although we have no complete information on the extent of conflicts of interest or their effect on DC plans, we know that the potential for them exists. For example, we found in past work that some plan sponsors may be unaware that the service providers who assist them in selecting investment options may also be receiving compensation from mutual fund companies for recommending their funds, creating a situation of competing professional interests. The Labor Department has proposed regulations that seek to expand the information it has on business arrangements among service providers. These regulations are pending review by the Secretary of Labor. GAO has not formally reviewed these regulations. However, properly designed, they could provide greater disclosure regarding potential conflicts of interest. Improved disclosure of potential conflicts of interest can be a small but important step in restoring investor confidence in our financial markets and institutions, as well as protecting the increasingly fragile retirement security of American workers. That concludes my statement, Mr. Chairman. I'm available for questions.